I need a factory. Now, I know every time I say this, I get the raised eyebrows, like, what? Yes, I need a factory. And I need your help to get one. Now, I firmly believe that coincidence is when God prefers to remain anonymous. And when you move in God's will for your life, unexplainable things happen. And this story started a couple of months ago when we suddenly discovered that a refugee family in our Sunday school class had their utilities turned off and they were being evicted. Now, we don't share this kind of stuff with each other very often. People can be hurting right beside you and they put on a smiley face and say, yeah, things are going okay, until they collapse. Well, in the course of trying to help our refugee family, I have met a world of wondrous and phenomenal people that work with various agencies. And in one conversation, we were talking about the need for jobs because there are poor people and refugees out there who want a job. They want to build a meaningful life. They want to do something worthwhile. They want to contribute to their communities. And they need a job to build a foundation to have a life. And right in the middle of one of these conversations, I said, you know, we need a factory. And it was amazing what kind of impact that had, because as we discussed what that would mean, a few weeks ago there was an article in the paper about the old mill town where the cone mill factory was. And the factory built all these little houses and created a community where people could work at the factory, they could walk to the factory and didn't need a car. We know how expensive that can be. They had a baseball field, athletic field where they could play. They had a membership at the Y. If you worked at the factory, you could go work out at the Y and use their gym. Basically, the factory provided a foundation that allowed a whole community of people to live and work together to create a life and to contribute to the welfare of each other in that community. Wouldn't it be great if we could find another situation that would allow for that? And there are a lot of the pieces that have started coming together as a result of these conversations. It's been amazing to me. Did you know that less than 25% of our population are truly entrepreneurs? The rest of us have to have a job. Duh. The rest of us have to figure out how to make a living working for some of the entrepreneurial types of people that create the jobs to start with. Yes, I need a factory. Well, I was talking with a fella down near Ashbury and he says, you know, I think I might have a factory for you. Actually, there's a whole town that's for sale in North Carolina. What? A whole town that's for sale? Yeah, give me a couple of days, let me check, I'll see if it's still for sale. It's been for sale for years. Whoa, well, that gives us a factory building with about a dozen houses around it. I'm talking to another agency and they're saying, you know, we've just had a foundation contact us and they have a large sum of money that they want to put into something significant. Okay, there's another piece. Down in Americus, Georgia, there's a little place called Koinonia Farm. Started in 1942 by a Southern Baptist Greek scholar who wanted to figure out if you could really live a Christian life. They went through all sorts of iterations and developments, but finally have developed a $1 million industry on this farm of candies, nuts, produce, fruitcake, and everybody who lives on the farm gets a place to live, food to eat, utilities paid for. And when I visited there 30 years ago, the highest paid family on the farm got $100 a month. But they lived in community. And the thing about Koinonia Farm that most people don't know, it was the prototype and birthplace of Habitat for Humanity. Koinonia Farm was doing Habitat before Habitat became Habitat. And they are glad to spread their knowledge and experience around. And so we're seeing the pieces come together. We have found a town that we might be able to buy. We found a foundation with money that will help us buy it. We've got a prototype that has been working and developing since 1942. And the only thing we need now is some kind of company to move in and occupy the factory and make it a real producing factory that would be willing to pay like minimum wage to everybody who works there, so they could come together, learn how to budget, learn how to live in community, learn how to work, learn how to build up the skills that they need to step out of poverty, to step out of being a refugee, and contribute to their culture, to their community. And we've got several organizations that have the people, the poor people, the refugee, to actually staff up the factory. The missing piece is we need the factory. We need the company that's willing to step in and run a factory. And there's a niche that still works in America. Sure, if it's a long-run big thing that goes to China or Mexico, but there's a niche of manufacturing that is actually more efficient to run in America. And that's what we need to find. Friends, help me find a factory. Metaphysics.